AP News in brief at 6:04 a.m. EDT ex-Trump campaign chair Manafort jailed ahead of trial. Washington, AP. Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort has been jailed after a federal judge revoked his house arrest over allegations of witness tampering in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. The order by U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson Friday adds to the already intense pressure on President Donald Trump's former top campaign aide in the special counsel's probe of Russian interference in the 2016 election campaign and the possible coordination with Trump aides. Manafort, who is 69, now loses the relative freedom he enjoyed while preparing for 2 criminal trials, and he faces the possibility, if tried and convicted, of spending the rest of his life in prison. Trump searches for credit on North Korean nuclear deal. Washington, AP. President Donald Trump credits his accord with North Korea's Kim Jong-un with saving tens of millions of people from nuclear war. Now he just has to get everyone else on board. Frustrated with lukewarm backing from congressional Republicans, criticism from Democratic opponents and skepticism from allies and the media, Trump made a stop Friday on the North Lawn of the White House to promote the nuclear deal that critics have criticized as vague and lacking in clear objectives. The surprise appearance on Fox, who has long pitched himself as a master dealmaker, feels the agreement represents a radical step toward solving an intractable foreign policy problem and has been publicly and privately grumbling that not everyone agrees. Trump's frustrations are all the more notable now during the honeymoon phase of the deal, when a triumphant cloud of goodwill has yet to be tempered by reality. The U.S. goal of complete, verifiable and irreversible denuclearization, even in the most optimistic case, will likely take years, and that's assuming North Korea won't violate the accord, as it has every previous nuclear agreement. Facing questions about his public embrace of Kim and the North Koreans' autocratic leadership style, including what Trump said was a joke about the obedience of the autocratic Kim's advisors, the president said he was doing what is necessary for peace. White House. Trump supports GOP leader's immigration bill. Washington, AP. President Donald Trump ignited 11th-hour confusion Friday over Republican efforts to push immigration legislation through the House, saying he wouldn't sign moderate package. The White House later walked back the comments, formally endorsing the measure and saying Trump had been confused. The campaign season tumult erupted as GOP leaders put finishing touches on a pair of Republican bills, a hard-right proposal and a middle ground plan negotiated by the party's conservative and moderate wings, with White House input. Only the compromise bill would open a door to citizenship for young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children, and reduced the separation of children from their parents when families are detained crossing the border, a practice that has drawn bipartisan condemnation in recent days. "I'm looking at both of them," Trump said when asked about the proposals during an impromptu interview on Fox News. Fox leaders released a schedule for next week that included possible consideration of immigration legislation. Earlier this week, House Speaker Paul Ryan had told colleagues that Trump supported the middle ground package. White House aide Stephen Miller, an immigration hardliner who has been accused of trying to sabotage immigration deals in the past, told conservative lawmakers at a closed-door meeting that the president backed that plan. China hikes tariffs on U.S. soybeans, electric cars, fish. Beijing, AP. China fired back Saturday in a spiraling trade dispute with President Donald Trump by raising import duties on a $34 billion list of American goods including soybeans, electric cars and whiskey. The government said it was responding in equal scale to Trump's tariff hike on Chinese goods in a conflict over Beijing's trade surplus and technology policy that companies worry could quickly escalate and chill global economic growth. China doesn't want a trade war, but has to fight back strongly, said a Commerce Ministry statement. It said Beijing also was scrapping agreements to narrow its multi-billion-dollar trade surplus with the United States by purchasing more American farm goods, natural gas and other products. The United States and China have the world's biggest trading relationship, but official ties are increasingly strained over complaints Beijing's industry development tactics violate its free trade pledges and hurt American companies. Europe, Japan and other trading partners raise similar complaints, but Trump has been unusually direct about challenging Beijing and threatening to disrupt such a large volume of exports. In this trade war, it's the U.S. who is playing the role of provocateur, while China plays defense, said the Global Times, a newspaper published by the ruling Communist Party. China is a powerful guardian and has enough ammunition to defend existing trade rules and fairness, disputed policies on migrants are the top threat to EU unity. Brussels, AP, forget Brexit or a looming transatlantic trade war. The diplomatic spat this week between Italy, Malta and France over who should take responsibility for more than 600 people rescued at sea shows that the biggest challenge Europe faces today is migration. It's not about the hundreds of thousands of people who arrived across the Mediterranean in recent years, many in perilous sea crossings like those aboard the rescue ship Aquarius, seeking better or safer lives. Turkey has welcomed more. Tiny Lebanon and struggling Jordan handle almost 2 million refugees between them. The crisis threatening the very existence of the European Union is the enemy within, the inability of the 28 states that make up the world's biggest trading bloc to manage those migrant arrivals collectively. Asylum reform is stranded on the rocks of national interests. The questions of who should take responsibility for those arriving, and whether there should be a quota system for European countries to share refugees, are fiercely disputed. Long-suffering EU nations like Italy and Greece, where most sea migrants enter, feel abandoned by other EU nations. Radio reporter regains a voice with new technology. Atlanta, AP. 2 years ago, longtime radio reporter Jamie Dupree encountered what others in his profession might see as an insurmountable challenge. He lost his voice. The 54-year-old veteran political newsman for Cox Media found a workaround. He focused on text-based reporting and communicated with interview subjects through notecards. But being unable to speak was not just a problem in his profession, it affected every area of his life. Now, with the help of technology, he can speak again. Sarah Proc, a Scottish company that creates text-to-speech technology, has crafted a new voice for Dupree, software that turns his typed sentences into spoken words. Thanks to the tool, Dupree's voice will be back on the air next week on radio stations in Atlanta, Orlando and Jacksonville, Florida, Dayton, Ohio, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. Both Trump critics find things to like in Watchdog Report. Washington, AP, a Justice Department watchdog report has turned into Washington's latest Rorschach test, with President Donald Trump and his critics each cherry-picking what they want to see from its findings to either discredit or defend investigators conducting the probe into the White House. The 500-page report, which was more than a year in the making, offered a nuanced conclusion about the Bureau's handling of the Hillary Clinton email probe, criticizing the FBI and its former director James Comey personally but not finding evidence that political bias tainted the investigation in the months and days leading up to Trump's election. But Trump wielded it as a blunt instrument on Friday, bludgeoning the integrity of the Justice Department by pointing to the politically charged communication among FBI employees as proof that the FBI was biased at the top level, and plotting against my election. The end result was wrong. There was total bias, Trump declared Friday. Comey was the ringleader of this whole, den of thieves. It was a den of thieves, Trump allies seized upon text messages between agents, pointing to one from August 2016 that said, "We'll stop it," with regard to a potential Trump victory, and another from a bureau lawyer that said, "Viva la resistance." And Trump took it one step further, barreling out of the White House Friday for an unannounced, early-morning television interview that turned into a nearly hour-long freewheeling give-and-take with reporters, during which he returned time and again to assert that report had exonerated him amid Mueller's ongoing probe into Russian election interference. State appeals court reinstates California's right to die law. Los Angeles, AP, a state appeals court has reinstated, at least for now, California's law allowing terminally ill people to end their lives. The 4th District Court of Appeals in Riverside issued an immediate stay Friday, putting the end-of-life option back into effect. The court also gave opponents of its decision until July 2 to file objections. The law allows adults to obtain a prescription for life-ending drugs if a doctor has determined that they have 6 months or less to live. Riverside County Superior Court Judge Daniel Otolia declared the law unconstitutional last month, stating that it had been adopted illegally because lawmakers passed it during a special legislative session called to address other matters. Otolia didn't address the issue of whether it's proper for people to end their lives. Saudi-led forces seize airport in Yemen. Port city of Hodeidah, Sana'a, Yemen, AP. Saudi-led forces heading an assault on Yemen's rebel-held port city of Hodeidah seized control of its international airport Saturday, officials loyal to Yemen's exiled government said, as fierce fighting continued for the starving nation's main gateway for food shipments. Engineers worked from Saturday morning to clear mines from areas around Hodeidah International Airport, just south of the city of some 600,000 people on the Red Sea, the military of Yemen's exiled government said. Yemen's Shiite rebels known as Houthis, who hold the country's capital of Sana'a, did not immediately acknowledge losing the airport. However, the Houthi-run Al Masirah satellite news channel aired footage it described as being from near Hodeidah showing a burned-out truck, corpses of irregular fighters and a damaged Emirati armored vehicle. The Iranian-aligned fighters rifled through a military ledger from the vehicle before chanting their slogan, "Death to America, Death to Israel, Damn the Jews, Victory to Islam." The Saudi-led coalition began its assault Wednesday on Hodeidah, the main entry for food into a country already on the brink of famine. Emirati forces are leading ground forces mixed with their own troops, irregular militiamen and soldiers backing Yemen's exiled government. Saudi Arabia has provided air support, with targeting guidance and refueling coming from the U.S. Pakistan, killing of Pakistan Taliban chief, significant. Kabul, Afghanistan, AP. Pakistan's caretaker Prime Minister Nasser al-Mulk described the killing of Pakistan Taliban chief Mullah Fazlullah in a U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan as a significant development in the fight against terrorism. Mulk made the comment in a telephone conversation Friday night with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and thanked him for sharing information about Fazlullah's killing, said a Pakistan government statement. The call was initiated by Ghani, who tweeted that Fazlullah's killing was the result of tireless human intel by Afghan security agencies. A U.S. official said the U.S. believes that it is likely the strike killed Fazlullah, but efforts are ongoing to confirm his death. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss preliminary information. In his tweet, Ghani said he also called Pakistan's Army Chief Gen. Qamar Javed Bajwa. In both conversations, Ghani said he urged Pakistan to take practical steps to bring Afghan Taliban residing in Pakistan to the negotiation table. Copyright 2018 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, written or redistributed.